You're welcome.
Well, folks, again, thanks for joining us today. We've been in business for over 38 years. We're the 12th oldest software company in the world. You may have known us under a previous name, and that's the Diskkeeper Corporation. And Diskkeeper was the preeminent defragmentation software product, sold over 100 million copies of Diskkeeper, and very excited about the transition of the company from Diskkeeper to Condusiv, which we rebranded in 2012 because the world changed, the world virtualized, you no longer defrag a SAN or an SSD. And along with that, we continued to improve our products, and Undelete was certainly one of the leaders in Windows Enterprise data protection and industry file recovery. Our software is OEM'd by 9 of the 10 top OEMs in the business. You can see a few of them down there: HP, Dell, Lenovo, etc. Our virtualization software has a patented caching engine that they OEM and put in their workstations and workbooks. We're very proud of that. Because of our long-time work with Microsoft, we're a very close partner with them. Because of what we do in the virtualization space, we're a close partner with VMware. And because of everything that we do around file protection, instant file recovery, virtualization, I/O reduction, Gartner named us a cool vendor and said we should be installed in every virtualized initiative. So we're very proud of all of that. But enough about the company. Let's dive right into what's exciting for us today and for the months, if not years, of effort for GQ and his team in the background in bringing you the latest release of Undelete 11. And clearly, many of you have dealt with the problems of file recovery. You know, a user accidentally deletes a file, and they need it back right away. But, you know, many times, and I'm sure you may have experienced, you can't get at it. And even if you can, whether you got to go to backups or snapshots, it can be really painful and quite, honestly, quite expensive. So now with Undelete 11, with a click of a button, you're able to recover those files for the individual, or even better yet, let them do it themselves. So as the short intro video said, you know, you look like a hero. So we're excited to bring you the latest updates that GQ and his team have developed for us here with Undelete 11. And I'm going to turn it over to GQ to take you through the next couple of slides here. GQ?
Thanks, Dan. And, you know, backup can be very time-consuming trying to find out that file. And you might think, why don't I just, doesn't the Windows Recycle bin cover this for me? But actually, the Windows Recycle bin will only catch deleted files deleted through File Explorer. If files are deleted through a command line, applications, or even through the network shares, they are not captured by the recycle bin. Now, the network shares is where we really shine, because when you have a file server and you have many users with their files on that network share and deleting it through their own system there, through a shared file, it doesn't get caught. And then you have to go back and try to find that backup if it exists. And if that person created that file since the last backup and modified it, then you're not going to have that in the backup. Now, another one is snapshots can help, but same thing. It's only good as the last snapshot. Now, you can, increase the frequency of the snapshots, and that will help. Won't fully eliminate it, but it can be costly in terms of storage requirements. Okay, so Dan, let's get in the product here. As I indicated, if a user has a map share and he deletes that file, it doesn't get caught by the recycle bin. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Dan. It does not get caught there. So hopefully You have an earlier version in your backup, but that's going to take time. So that's the main reason we created Undelete 11. And I have to tell you, we mentioned this, the hero. And when we first created this, one of the first success stories that we got was from a user that was able to recover a file for his boss. His boss was creating a PowerPoint presentation, and he started making modifications in the morning. And 4 hours later, when he's done, he accidentally overwrote it. And he was supposed to do that presentation that afternoon. But through Undelete, and this is another feature through us, we were able to recover it with our emergency Undelete feature. And he came back and said, "Thanks, guys. You made me look like a hero to my boss." So that's what we hope to do with all of you with this product. Now, what we've done here, Undelete 11, we've made some very nice enhancements here. As the first thing is, as we indicated, it's an enhanced recovery bin. It catches all deleted files. And not just deleted files, we have another feature which we call versioning. When you overwrite files, and for instance, you're doing a PowerPoint, and as I indicated, you're editing it and you remove something and then you saved it and you said, "I didn't mean to remove that, remove those sections," and they're lost. Well, with Undelete here, we can save the last previous versions of your not only Microsoft Office files, but with Undelete 11, we can do user-specified files. These could be CAD, Photoshop, and other file types that you specify. We can save those. Now, you can specify, just save the last X version. And I believe by default it saves the last 5 versions before it purges the oldest one, but you can change that. Then with Undelete 11, one thing that we changed, and we listened to users, we went and surveyed the users on what they liked and didn't like with the previous version. And one of the biggest requests that we got is to change the interface and to bring it back to that File Explorer-like interface. And we'll show that in just a minute. Then the next one is another feature that we added was extensive search features. A lot of times when a person accidentally deletes files, and I say accidentally because I'll go into another point, they don't remember the full name of that file, or they don't remember when they deleted that file, or they don't remember where that file resided at. So with our search features, you can do wildcard for file names or file types or under certain folders, or you can give it a date range of when that file was deleted, or you can ask who, files that were created or deleted by a specific person. And you can actually, with all those different search options, you can add them together and really narrow it down. Now, I indicated, people accidentally deleting files, but we've also had the cases where users who were, let's say, let go, they took upon themselves to maliciously remove a lot of data from the system, and we've helped in those situations too. And as I indicated before, I do see some questions, but we do like to make this interactive. So if you have any questions, just type them in. Dan, go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So what go ahead and go to And as it, this is what we indicated before. When you delete a file, now, and this is on a share, they will now show up in the Undelete recovery bin on that file server. And on the right side there, that is our, you know, and they can be recovered here. And the next slide here, Dan. And let's say they all got deleted here through the client machine and off the file server. And then the next one is you go into Undelete. And as he indicated, you'll notice it looks very similar to File Explorer in its look and feel with the left and right panes there. And it will show up those deleted files. And with the click of the button, you can just restore them back. You can restore the whole folder and the resulting subfolders, or you can specify specific files. And if you're on that server itself, you can drag and drop those files. Now we have another option too here. With Undelete Server, we also provide what we call Undelete Client. An Undelete Client can be put on the client systems so users can see and recover their own deleted files. Now, I indicate their own because they can only see files that they have the Windows rights to. So they can't see other people's deleted files there. So with the click of the button, you can recover those files. And as I indicated, this is point in time. When those files get deleted, we capture that and put it into our own recovery bin. Okay. Dan, I'll go to the next slide here.
Yep.
And I just want to indicate a few more features within Undelete here. Now, what happens if you deleted files, or somebody accidentally deleted files, and they're not on backup? You don't have Undelete on the system. What do you do here? We also have a feature within the product to try to recover those files. When a file gets deleted in the Windows file system, the data doesn't really get deleted. The space is just marked as it's available again. So that data still resides on that disk until it gets overwritten. So with our emergency Undelete, we can go see if that data is still there and recover that file. And I mentioned the CEO that was doing the PowerPoint presentation. They didn't have Undelete installed on the system yet. They do after this occurred, of course, and that has saved them. But in this case, they use emergency Undelete to save them. We've had this feature for not only for the enterprise system, but for consumers too who have accidentally deleted their photos and are in panic because they don't have any backup of their photos. And this has helped create an option to retrieve those files back to them. So this is a great option here. And then I mentioned Undelete Client already, how now the IT personnel doesn't have to go find that file, even though it's easy for them. And you have an option. You may not want the users to retrieve their own files, but if you do, we give you that option so they can do it themselves. Now, couple of the next two features are actually related here. As I indicated, when the data gets deleted on a Windows file system, the data actually still resides on the volume until it gets overwritten. But what if you want to really, when you delete data, you want to make sure that it's gone and nobody can retrieve it? Well, we have two options here. And one is wipe free space. And what we'll do there is we'll go over all the free space, all the space that is now marked as available. And we'll use actually an algorithm from the Department of Defense of types of overwrites of that data so it cannot be recovered. Then with secure delete, what happens when you delete a file, we're going to erase that data with that same type of pattern to make sure that before that file gets deleted, so that data is not out there on your volume to get captured. Dan, go ahead to the next slide, please. Now, a couple of additional features that we have here. We're starting to make it cloud ready. We have an option right now when you enable Undelete, it creates a recovery bin folder on each volume that you have it enabled on. But we have a option which we call the common bin. You can create a common bin on one location, on one volume, on one folder, and all the deleted files and version files from all the volumes will be put in that one location. Now, you can put that one location up on the cloud as a further backup here, and we provide that here, so it's up there on the cloud rather than locally here. Another feature that we have are exclusion and inclusion lists. Inclusion is something new in Undelete 11. Before, we've always had the exclusion list because, as I indicated, we capture all deleted files. But we know there's some files that are temporary and you may not want to capture them. So we, by default, set up a default exclusion list not to save certain types of files. But you, the user, can modify that. You could remove certain exclusions or add certain exclusions. Then we had some users request that there's only certain files that they were interested in protecting. So we added an inclusion list where the user can specify just certain folders or file types to protect here. And then we have our management. As I indicated, like versioning, you can say how many versions back to save in the recovery bin before it gets purged. And the same thing with the recovery bin size. There's several different options. You can set up the recovery bin size to be a fixed size, or you can say, I only want it to take up X% of available free space on that volume. And what happens is, when it gets full, is that the older files will get purged. But you do have the option to say, when it fills, stop collecting too. So you have many options there. And then with the Undelete Server Edition, you do have a central management console where you can install it and uninstall it from a central location there, all throughout your network there. And then you can actually connect to any remote Undelete deployment from the server and manage that Undelete on that remote system as though you're locally on that system there. So Dan, next slide here. And I already showed you this, but it's a very familiar File Explorer-like interface here, in that we've included the ribbons and look and feel like File Explorer there on the, oops, and then with the extension search capabilities we've added here, as I indicated, who, what, when. You can specify all those different types of parameters when searching files to try to find that delete file, because a lot of times that user doesn't have the data of the file he deleted. And Dan, and the last one is, as I indicated, finding and recovering previous versions of files. You can look in the recovery bin, and you can also, within File Explorer itself, you can right-click and there'll be a version capability to look at these version files too. But here, it will show you the different version files, when they were deleted or overwritten, and you can actually click on it and view it before deciding to recover it too. So very nice features there. Dan, next one here. And I'm going to pass this back to Dan here. And I got to tell you, from the tech point of view here, this is where I get the most satisfaction. And that is hearing back from customers those success stories. So, Dan, I'll pass it over to you. Thanks.
Well, thank you, GQ. And folks, as I said at the beginning, you know, and as GQ said, he's the technical wizard here. It's him and his team that developed this latest release. It's pretty exciting, pretty user-friendly, very user-friendly, as you saw. You know, familiar screens that you normally see in a Windows environment. So it's really, really very exciting for all of us to bring this to you today. Even more importantly, though, as GQ said, is what our customers are saying about Undelete. And, you know, you can read these as quickly as I can speak them, but like Marion County, we use Undelete so often, our users count on it and save them time when recovering files or folders. And you see all of those types of benefits from all of the customer comments that we have. PC test engineering, it's better, faster than retrieving from a backup, which is what we talked about earlier on, and the same with snapshots. I love the Maricopa County clerk. They use the tool constantly. It's been vital in several situations. Executive staff deleted a presentation, able to recover, etc. You know, Batesville Tool and Die helped us recover CAD files when a large amount were accidentally deleted. You know, it happens all the time, folks, and this is a very cost-effective, quick and easy tool to help folks recover those lost or deleted files and get everybody back to work as quickly as possible. So with that, you know, there's the Undelete 11 Server Edition that protects server files. GQ mentioned the Undelete desktop client that allows laptops, workstations, etc., to recover their own files from the Undelete server recovery bins. And then the Undelete Professional protects those locally stored files and allows those files to be recovered from the bin. So very robust offering, simple to use, very powerful in what it delivers. So what next steps? What should you do? Why not go to our website and download and install a trial version of Undelete? So there's the link to do that. If you go to our website, Condusiv.com, and search for Undelete, you'll also get there. And if you're so inclined, you can purchase it right now. You can either go online, which a lot of our customers do, and purchase it on our online site. We're also happy to work with you, the different sales reps, in developing a quote for volume purchases. And we have customers that go up to thousands of copies, believe it or not, of Undelete to protect those volumes. So with that, GQ, I was wondering if you could maybe share with us a couple of the Q&As that we've got out there.
I'd be glad to, Dan. One I see Ken says, "No, where is the search, or is it not needed since it will be detailed in the search results?" And you know what, Ken, I missed that here. Dan, if you go back to slide 17 real quick. Thank you. When you do search for deleted files, you do specify the location here. In this case, it's a D volume, but then you can go down into a certain folder, and you can include the subfolders in that search when you do the search. So there is where you can find the files too. And then Dan, I see someone else asking, does this require a reboot to install? And no, it does not. It does not. You can just install it, and it will start working immediately. It will replace the recycle bin with our recovery bin on your desktop there or on your server. Now, the recycle bin files are still there from previously, so those could get recovered too. Now, someone asked, what about files deleted? You indicated about files deleted before you installed your product. What about files deleted from the recycle bin? And yes, with that emergency undelete, if you accidentally deleted some files that you were trying to recover from recycle bin, this will recover it. Then David asked, does it catch all deletes, even via command line? It does, and that's what makes us different than, of course, the recycle bin. We'll catch all deletes, command line, application, and as we heard from many users, through the network too. Okay. And then what privileges are needed to run this here? And well, as I indicated, with the Undelete client, the user can run it itself, but they can only see files that they have rights to. For the system administrator, we do look at having same thing. Anyone can run it, but they're only going to see the files that they have access to. So the admin should have full rights and should be able to see all deleted files there. And one thing that we have seen here, it's been used for several other purposes rather than just restoring deleted files from users. We actually have users using this as a monitoring system and seeing how many files are getting deleted every day. If they see a normally number or size of files getting deleted, that raises a big flag for them. So they just do a search of what was deleted on that day and see the amount of it and uses that as a monitoring tool themselves. Let me see if there's any more questions here, Dan. This is good. I'm glad to see this interaction here. Let's see. Nope, that's it right now, Dan. I think we got them all.
So great, GQ. Thanks much. So, folks, thanks for taking the time to join us today. I hope you found the half hour very informative and very productive. We're very excited about what GQ and his team are able to deliver here at Undelete 11. We'd love to have you experience it yourself in your environment. So again, please go to the website, download the trialware, and again, we're happy to work with each and every one of you if you'd like around expanding the installation of the trial in your environment and or making sure that you can get the most cost-effective quote possible for the new Undelete 11. With that, folks, thanks. Be sure to reach out, download the trialware. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great day.